Hi, my name is Amy. I am a violinist and also a C1 incomplete quadriplegic. So how did I become paralyzed? Mainly due to my cervical instability. Wait, before I tell you the story, do you know 1 in 15 EDS people have different degree of CCI? And your story might help someone else. In the past, I mentioned how I had 3 major surgeries in 5 years. 2 are spine-related surgery. Here is how everything started. On October 16, 2020, I decided to relax my body and go into a deprivation tank. It is a high concentrated with the Epsom salt dissolved in the warm water to float your body in and ease the tension of muscle. However, there wasn't enough salt in the tub. My head was hanging way too low, caused my ligament to be overly stretched while I was in the tub. I started experiencing instability of my head and the neck, and tinnitus started, fatigue, and worsening of my nearest fainting spells. So fast forward after all these symptoms are brewing on November 8th, 2020, as I present to the ER with continuous fainting spells. After I was already experiencing on and off fainting and hyperextending my neck in the wheelchair that without head support for 2 hours straight, finally waking up with an awful neck pain, besides the spastic movement, and they sent me home with the ER diagnosis of pseudo-seizure. Then the direction of my diagnostic journey just went to the wrong alley, as my neurosurgeon educated me about those seizure-like episodes that are actually dystonic storm due to the injury to the spinal cord. This has changed my entire view for the course of the disease. So it's dystonic storm all along. Dystonic storm. So from my first dystonic storm in 2020 to the degree of the level of my injury of C1, and ever since October 2022, just 2 years of progressive paralysis that keep getting dismissed in the guest list. As many of you know that I maintain mainly as a paraplegic due to the tethered spinal cord, which did really quickly paralyze me from the thigh down, and then the hip down, and then the waist down, with some weakness in my hands and some sensation changes. And there's distinctive difference from the nipple line up and then down. When I saw the spinal cord injury specialist, I was introduced with my level of C4. It's when the hi, I am C4 quadriplegic come from. By the time the tethered spinal cord comes in March 2023, the neurologist appointments, the dismissal and gaslighting culture of neurologists to patients, I didn't get an earlier surgery than March 2023. And it always takes longer for me to heal and to get better. So now it's at the end of 2023 after visit 2 neurosurgeons, because my mild C4 to 6 cervical myelopathy at the time was clearly already picked up on the upright MRI film. Clearly was not an artifact. Unfortunately, there wasn't any physicians in Dallas area is going to jump into the action. Everyone just observed, allowed the symptom continue to get worse. So after visiting 2 neurosurgeons, and I had a conversation online with the third one who wants to do a traction test, which I'm glad I didn't, because how clear my pathology on the film. Another one who didn't give me a reason, but just called me on the phone and told me to absolutely do no head to neck surgery. He did recommend a cervical collar, but it was not good. It caused my facial nerve palsy. So why I chose the surgeon now? Because his plan meet my needs, and that's the best thing I think was going to help me be more stable and be able to function as a musician. Immediately, the occipital neuralgia completely resolved. Although complications still happened multiple times throughout last year. I know it felt scary at the moment, but at least I'm still able to come out to the other side and continuing on getting better. So I share my story for awareness, for finding my own community, and advocating for early diagnosis, way earlier before they reach to this point. Every voice of this community is valid. It needs to be shared. You should do it too.